Okay, welcome back to the second part of the Eco 701 summary lecture video. Okay, for lecture 06, okay, just a few more slides. I think the last two. Okay, other tips. You cannot review everything for chapter 2. Keep that in mind. You really cannot review everything. Otherwise, your chapter 2 will be 100 pages. Okay, and then present your literature you have consulted in an organized and structured manner. Avoid mere repetition. I think I mentioned this point in the previous video, and end the chapter with an overview of the main points that have emerged from the literature review. That is your research gaps. Okay, so I can give you some examples. This is an example. So this is the general structure. I think you only need one paragraph for session 2.1 introduction. You just have to talk about what you are going to do in each section of the chapter. So section 2.2 will examine So section 2.2 is usually definition of key concepts. And then session 3 would be the core theories. And then session 2.4 will be the review of past empirical studies before you conclude the chapter in the last session 2.5. And then for your conclusion, you just have to briefly summarize what the chapter has done and then the new questions identified by this chapter. That is your research gaps that your proposed study aims to fill. And then this table on slide 18 and 19, a very good table, two good tables. I got it from a textbook on research methods, and then some good linking words actually to improve the coherence in writing. I think you actually know almost all these words, and you have been using these words actually. Okay, like due to, thus, as a result, therefore, but, although, however, additionally, in addition. And my suggestion is that don't keep using the same word again and again, especially in the same paragraph. Imagine you use the word also like 5 times in the same paragraph. That's going to offend both the supervisor and your examiner. Why don't you show some variety? Maybe use the word moreover in some places, in some sentences, but also in addition, additionally, okay, furthermore, okay. And then this is the second part of the table. I think these words, again, I expect you to be quite familiarized and you have been using these words, such as on the contrary, by comparison, whereas, likewise. This implies that afterwards. Okay. So upon going through this table, I've realized that from my side, I hardly use the word likewise or what is more on top of that. I think this column, the fourth column, I have hardly been using these keywords. So I also have some rooms for improvement from my side, actually. So I'm done with the PowerPoint slides. And then if you go back to the folder 06, there is a PDF file, a long PDF file called UWC Academic Writing Guide, 59 pages. Again, I think all the readings from UWC research offers are really good, except they are a bit too long. So in case you really struggle to have time to go through every single page, then focus on what I have highlighted in yellow, actually. Okay, you can find this highlighted text quite easily. Okay, and then to conclude the chapter, we can do this writing workshop exercise. So using the Cornell note-taking templates you learned from the earlier lectures. So we want to do a nice session 2.4 review of past empirical studies. We want to review the past studies that examine the impact of matrix mathematics on undergraduate economics performance. So I review, I think, 4 studies. So I've got 4 note-taking templates. So let's go through the 4 of them. First one, 2000, Arnold, done on first year micro at UCT. Okay, and look at the key findings. An increase of matrix mass entry points of 1 unit lead to a statistically significant, remember the keyword, significant increase of 1.45 units of first year's micro mark. So keep this in mind. Significant, the parameter is 1.5. Okay. And this is the conclusion statement. Matrix mass has a positive significance on the UCT Micro 1 performance. Second study, 2015 Dewji on UWC, also micro, but this time it is on second year. Okay. And then the highlights: an increase of matrix mass entry point of 1 unit leads to a statistically significant, again, same as the first study, significant increase. And this time the parameter is 1.55. Okay, so you can see the first two studies, both significant, and the parameter is more or less around 1.55. So the first two studies, you already spot the coherence or similarity. So now later you have to write up some nice paragraphs to link the two studies together. But let's look at the conclusion sentence from this second study. Matrix mass has a positive, significant impact on micro 2 performance. Third one, 2018 from the Wursthazen, impact of matrix mass on second year mathematical economics performance. Okay, so this is a quantitative, highly quantitative module. So I suppose the impact of matrix mass will be stronger, because if you did well in matrix mass, you should do much better in undergraduate mathematical economics, given the quantitative nature of the module. So it is done at Rhodes on mass eco, not micro animal. Look at the much bigger parameter, and again the result is significant. So the first three studies show that matrix mass has a significant positive impact on undergraduate economics performance, but the impact is the greatest for the third one, much greater. Look at the parameter is almost 4 units. So an increase of matrix mass entry point of 1 unit leads to a statistically significant increase of almost 4 units increase of the second year mass eco exam mark. So look at the conclusion statement. Matrix mass has a positive, significant impact on mass eco performance. Fourth one, by Alicia and Keys. Okay, impact on third year international trade. I think there wouldn't be relationship, because international economics is not a highly quantitative module. So I doubt there is strong or significant relationship between matrix mass and international economics third year performance. So the study is done on UWC third year. Look at the result. An increase of matrix mass entry point of 1 unit leads to a statistically insignificant increase of only 0.33 units of international economics final mark. But remember, the result is insignificant. Okay, so this is the conclusion statement. There is an insignificant, I need to repeat it one more time. There is insignificant relationship between matrix mass marks and international economics marks. So now the point is, how can you write up an interesting, eye-catching session 2.4 review of past empirical studies? So this is an example. The boring writing style, I only have one boring paragraph. Oh, matrix mass has a significant positive impact on undergraduate micro and mass eco performance at various institutions. Full stop. One exception is Alicia and Keys did not derive such result at UWC International Economics course. So if you dare showing such a boring and short and actually unclear paragraph in your section 2.4, then it will be game over. Okay, so let's rewrite it with an eye-catching style. Then I recommend you to have subsession. So 2.4, you have session 2.4.1. You only review the studies with significant and positive impact, okay, of matrix mass on undergraduate economics performance. So in other words, you have to review the first three studies. Arnold, Dewey. Remember, they derive similar findings on the parameter of 2. Hey, keep that in mind. For the Westhazen, I'd recommend you to write in a separate paragraph because of the much greater statistical significant impact. Remember, the parameter is 4 units. And then I will recommend you to have session 2.4 to discuss the studies, only one actually, insignificant impact of matrix mathematics. So I'm going to pause for 1 minute, and then I'll wait for you to be ready before we go through the proposed answer. Alright, so let's look at the answers. Remember, I must admit my writing is not particularly good, so there is always room for improvement. Honestly, I think I pass. My writing skill is a pass, maybe C symbol, but really not particularly well. So we have to all learn from each other. So let's look at my proposed answer, 2.4.1, positive and significant impact of metric mass. So Arnold 2000 and Dewey 2015, you see I'm showing the integration or synthesis. Both found that a 1 unit increase of metric mass entry point led, you see I adopt the past tense, led to a statistically significant increase of about 1.5 units of first years at UCT and second year bracket at UWC micro performance, respectively. In addition, you see the linking words, in addition, or you can use moreover. These studies found that students who enroll either maths higher grade from the old matric curriculum or maths from the current syllabus, I think you have maths or maths literacy in the current syllabus, they enjoy a stronger performance in undergraduate microeconomics. Then you move on to the most significant one. Van der Westhuizen 2018 also derived the same positive and significant relationship between matric mass entry points and second year mass eco performance at Rose. However, now you want to show the contrast of Van der Westhuizen from the first two studies. However, the coefficient was much greater. By how much you have to indicate at almost 4 units. This result is not surprising given the quantitative nature of mass eco course content. Okay, happy with that? Then 2.4.2, there is only one study, insignificant impact of metric mass. So Alicia and Keys bracket 2018 found a positive yet insignificant relationship between metric mathematics and third year international economics performance. Another empirical finding was that students with metric mass did not perform significantly differently from those with metric mass literacy. These results are expected, not surprising, as it is a well-known fact that the course content of international economics is rather highly qualitative or theoretical. I don't know if you still remember the theories like comparative advantage, absolute advantage, Herschel-Orlan theory, something like that. These are all highly qualitative theoretical models which don't have much to do with your matric economics. Matric mathematics. Okay, so I hope you are happy with this writing workshop. I think you slowly masters how to do chapter 2 literature review now, so I hope you will be fine with your second term learning. Okay, I repeat one more time. If you do well in your research proposal from the first term, which lays the foundation of your building, and then your literature review essay in the second term, which is essentially the chapter 2, the core chapter of your research long essay, then you should be fine with your third and fourth term. Okay, actually, strictly speaking, the examiners or your supervisors, they will form an impression on how possibly good or bad your research essay is after reading your highly crucial chapter 2. So I think that's it from me on this chapter and this lecture. And before we move on to the next lecture, 07, which gives you some hints on turnitin.com actually.